Hi there. I'm Cary Ellis, author of 21st Century Superhuman, and this is our 21st Century Superhuman show. Today, I am on the Plasma Workshop Tour with Whitney Fisher, and Caroline DeAngelis is here with us. And how are you girls today?
Oh, we're fantastic.
It's beautiful out here.
And where are we?
We are in Philipsburg, Montana, which is a mining town and a beautiful little place to be all the three of us together and producing this show with you. So we're very excited about how the progression of the workshops are going. And you've got a lot of neat things to share with us today.
Yes, we have a really great, lovely little spot here. I lived in the Rocky Mountains for 16 years, and I really miss it because I'm kind of out in the bigger world and in places like Florida and Costa Rica and Michigan. And it's just wonderful to be back out here in the Rockies at a higher elevation and the mountain air. It's beautiful in a smaller town. And we're just really having fun together. And what's happening as a result, I drove and drove and drove to get out here, and we'll show some pictures in a minute, and got to go to Standing Rock or near Standing Rock and deliver GANS to go up there, which was very exciting. And then I zoomed all night really to get to Montana, and then Idaho. We drove to Idaho the next morning and taught a workshop there. So it's been kind of zoom, 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 like very intense trip, but really exciting and a lot of cool things to share. So it's been, I think the neatest thing, don't you girls, about us being here together is we're kind of pooling our knowledge. And I wasn't able to get, for instance, a MAGRAV unit done for my van before I left. I sort of tried, but I had so many things to do. It was just one too many things. And so we're working on that now, which is very exciting. And there's background that I know with MIP Peru and some of the other tech groups. And then I'm able to share that with you. And Whitney, you're just really technically good. And so, and then Caroline's got things she knows about. So we're really pooling our knowledge and working together on things, which is super fun.
Seems like the whole format or the flow of how we can introduce this technology is coming out in tandem between all of us as we're working together. It's so incredibly beautiful. And it's also evidence of this group collective urge to get this technology out to the world. We're finding that many people are having the same ideas, the same track of ideas, and we're really allowing it to flow. And we don't have all the schedule done yet, but the meetings that are needed to be done are coming up. And we're very excited about this next weekend. We're going back to Coeur d'Alene.
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of like a living, breathing thing almost, the whole tour process, because it's coming into being just as we go, and different communications with different people, and they're excited about us coming certain places, and then some things we have to work on. It was so much fun to get here and have you guys tell stories about having watched my videos. Like Whitney, you told about watching the pen video, the health pen video with JC, and then Carolyn, you had talked about some of that, and it was fun to know that we're all kind of in, and I had looked at documents that you had produced, Whitney, and we've kind of been learning from each other all along.
Yeah, it's amazing if you just allow yourself to follow what you're being pulled in your heart. Carolyn wasn't planning on coming out until about a week before Cary got here, and all of a sudden it just came together. And she did some helpful, really awesome healing work with me. And then I said, well, hey, come out and let's learn some stuff together. And she's was here several days before we had the Peace Festival that we were at Saturday, the Temple of 1,000 Buddhas, which is amazing to be there on a Peace Festival. And ironically, I have only in my travels in the last 3 years held on to a couple different stones, and one of them is a rose quartz, and it was gifted to me by a friend, Brandon, when we got ready for the Opal tour 3 years ago. We were at that Peace Festival, our entire group of 24 people. We had a meetup in Montana. We went to that Peace Festival 3 years ago. So that rose quartz went all
Yeah.
the way around.
I loved it, Whitney, that you were tracing back, that we're really doing kind of very similar dates to what you did on the Opal tour. And you were having a lot of memories coming up of that. And I just love the resonance of that, because the Opal tour, the One People's movement that you were really in the middle of and went to Morocco with, I was kind of in the background of, and was starting to produce shows and was writing my book, and, you know, kind of this big wave of awakening that was going on around the planet. And it was almost like we're in an echo of that, sort of.
That tour really did an energetic push. It was so important. Everyone that participated in the tour, everyone we met, everyone we hugged, it was so important. And energetically, I think, yes, that was an incredible wave, and it's time for wave 2.
That's right. And now we have great tool. I mean, and we still, you know, support Hope and the QEG. I think you've mentioned that numerous times, and I'd like to state that here, because we're working with the Keshe plasma technology, and even some with Mike Nashif and the Infinity Q. You know, we've got a lot of tools and resources, but we have had the communication between us that I think is really important, that we are for unity. We believe many are working to bring this next phase forward, and we honor the gifts of all.
Yes. And all of the effort that people have put forth and changed their lives and gone out and taken not a stand, but worked towards something, put their personal focus on something for peace and for change. And that's beautiful. We got to honor it all.
Definitely. Carolyn, is there anything you'd like to jump in and say here? What's it been like for you?
Oh, well, it's been amazing. It just has been amazing. It's amazing meeting both of you people, because I've been following both of you, and found both of you to be very helpful. I've seen your videos on the Keshe stuff. I watched the pen one also. And, you know, John Anderson was very important for me finally deciding to make the pens, because I had a block. I'm not making them perfectly. I can't make them. So that helped me, and helped me with the GANS. And I'm here too to try to, in the new energies, to try to, my healing work is trying to help people hold the higher energies they reach. We can all reach up there, but we don't stay there all the time. So I'm in the process of helping people with that in a general way, a general description, I mean.
She's working really on helping create a device, a little pendant that you can wear that's tailor-made to the person.
That's right.
With their dimension, what dimension they're working on, and to help them hold that field. And you just put the first one together.
Yeah, it's nano coating now.
Nano coating, and I just held it, and it's got beautiful energy. So those will be coming out to as we get further into figuring out exactly how they're all made.
Right.
And yeah, I'm excited about mine too.
This will be a personal thing, and I'll be getting info out when it's we got the technique down. So
that's great. You know, we have people ask us, I know as I've been traveling and teaching, I have people ask me, oh, do you guys have things we can buy? You know, because we're teaching people how to make their own things, but also we're really trying to put together a number of things that people can buy. And we even have had people send us things who are making some beautiful things that people can purchase to help support the tour. And Whitney and I are really just doing this tour completely on faith and on the energy, knowing that we are the currency, knowing that we are the life force in this universe. And we have been told and asked to spread the plasma technology. And so we're going out at the level that we've learned, and we're sharing that with everyone that we can. We've both been studying with the Keshe Foundation Knowledge Seekers for a year. We've been listening to the teachings and putting into practice, learning in Skype rooms and learning with other groups of people. So this is an amazing technology. Learning to have these tools in your everyday life is really important. We're also reaching out to say if there's a way that you can contribute to help us with the tour, either by purchasing something or giving a donation. That is hugely helpful. We do the workshops with a love offering. The links will be under and on this video, and 21stcenturysuperhuman.com, my website. You can just click on tours, and there's a whole page there, and I'm actually getting ready to build out another page with teaching links on it. And then Whitney's is many hands and the number 4 peace.org, many hands for peace.org. And so there's a lot of material on both of those sites and ways that you can connect with us, follow us. Our calendar is at 21stcenturysuperhuman.com tour. And so I have a slideshow here that I put together on the journey out here, on the trip that I was able to make to deliver GANS to Standing Rock. We have another brother who may hop on here at some point. We'll see if he jumps in, David Hodgson, who also has been working on getting GANS to Standing Rock and healing pens, etc. So are you girls ready, or do you have anything else you'd like to toss out there while we're at this point? And then we'll go to screen sharing and go to the slideshow.
We're excited to see the slideshow as you go through it. So let's get to that.
I'm good.
Awesome, great. Okay, we'll go ahead with that. I'm going to switch us to share screen. And let's see if I can put this on view, enter full screen. Here we are. And you guys are visible. You can always, even though you can't see yourselves, you are visible in the video, and you can either, turn your video off and come in if you want for a few minutes, or either way, whatever you're ready for, because they're outside and it's chilly out there. So may peace prevail on earth. This is me leaving the house that I left in Florida, and we're going to see kind of fractal resonance through this trip. I left a house in Florida with a Buddha, a lot of meditation, prayer flags, prayerfulness, and a real honoring of all life, gardens. And all these gardens had been watered with GANS this summer. And there is Tara, who is the mother of compassion in Buddhism. And we saw her again once I got out here. This is a really neat kind of just mobile I hung in the house, which has a couple of health pens that are nano-coated and some beautiful GANS water in this orb. And I love the way it makes the little plasma energy packets in the droplets. And here we are leaving. So when I left Florida, there was literally a tropical storm going through. There were trees torn down in this county I was driving through, but I ended up driving through multiple rainbows. And I ended up, I would stop places and they'd say, wow, trees have fallen on people's houses, and people were out trying to clean up. And I was under completely clear skies. And I kept seeing really interesting, intense formations in the skies as I traveled. This is over the Ohio River, so that's a little further along on the trip. But what I'd like to share is the plasma devices that I was carrying in my van as I drove. And so I've been listening a lot to the Keshe teachings about filling balls with GANS and setting up different energy fields. So this was a GANS ball in a ping pong ball on the inside that had the 3 main GANSes in it, CO2, CO, and CH3, small amounts of the last 2. And then CO2 GANS in the outside, but with sugar in it in order to make it more acidic. And this ping pong ball was very pushy in this container, and it would always want to be by the edges. This is another GANS water ball that I had hanging in my windshield with, again, another couple of health pens and a concentrate of the 3 main GANSes, CO2, CH3, and CO. I did not have a MOGREV unit plugged into my car as I left. As I've mentioned, I would have liked to, but I just didn't manage to get it done. But I was carrying all of these GANSes with me, and they're beautiful, wonderful, very live GANSes. So I definitely had set up a plasmatic field here. This is also the triad formation, and it's only about half finished. But I had been working on it before I left. There's one of each GANSes. You can kind of see well, I guess it's not right there, but the triple double coil setup, and those are all counterclockwise. And then the middle one is a clockwise coil. And I actually have 3 more coils to make to get this done, and then linking them together. Again, more of the GANSes that I'm carrying with me, wood ash water. I was also carrying an Infinity Q unit that Whitney had made and had sent to me. I did not have it plugged in because I couldn't quite figure out how to do it, but it was being carried in the vehicle, and there's seawater GANs in the ping pong ball. And then these are some of the vials of concentrated GANs that I made before I left. There's CH3, CUO, CO2, and those 3 concentrated. And this was setting up a really interesting field in my van as I traveled. And we're going to see how some of this takes place. That is the triad unit before it was nano-coated, kind of in the construction process. Again, so interestingly, this is the one ball with the sugar in the GANs in the outer ball, and this vial of concentrated GANs is right next to it, the trifecta, CO2, CH3, and CUO, together would form this bubble with a whole bunch of little bubbles inside it. And the ping pong ball would tend to want to stay right next to it. And then look at the GANs the formation that the GANs has made in the bottom of this bulb. So there was a lot of really interesting energetics going on with these items as I traveled. So I got out to the really beautiful west with the blue skies, and these big yellow wild sunflowers were in Iowa. And as I came across South Dakota, I just kept thinking about Standing Rock. And I knew that I had an intention before I left that I wanted to deliver GANs to Standing Rock. I also, one of the reasons that I embarked on this journey was because during these critical times when there's all this chaos going off before the election, I knew that I wanted to travel across America with plasma energy. And so I drove all the way from Florida out to Montana. So I'm on this whole journey of going across the country, and I'm thinking to myself, my time kept getting tighter and tighter. I had delays. I had actually a fuse blow on my van after I put a bunch of plasma devices in it. And I think it was because it was a very old fuse, and it took a day for a mechanic to figure out what it was, because it was kind of a hidden fuse behind my battery, and it was for the ignition. So interestingly enough, and John Carl Anderson, JC, told me, Cary, there's a very remote possibility that putting plasma devices in your van could push something that is old, because it's an intelligent energy field, to get whatever is in the way out of the way and get it replaced. So I had a day delay on that, and then I had a card compromised by a card reader, which was amazing. All of a sudden, I had a charge in Beijing, China, on my little minimal bank account, and so I had to spend hours on the phone with PayPal to get that straightened out. So a lot of interesting things, which I always feel like the universe dictates an exact perfect journey. And so as I was on this journey, I knew that I couldn't really go all the way up to Standing Rock. But this is the Missouri River, the mouth of the Missouri River, by I-90, and I see the town of Chamberlain, and I know that this is the road to Standing Rock. And so I decide, okay, I'm going to get off and see who I can find. And we have this really beautiful basin at the base of the Missouri River. I actually went into one of the local restaurants and asked a young man if he knew somebody who would be associated with Standing Rock that I could send a peace offering up there with. And in fact, Mrs. Keshe had even messaged me and said, please, if there's any way you can get GANs to Standing Rock, please do so. And I already had the intention, and then her kind of, conveying that also made me just feel like I really wanted to do it. And then also Dave Hodgson, who's another one of the people connected with me on Facebook, who's actually a trucker, and he was wanting to get it up there too. So we ended up in this conversation. They encouraged me. So I asked this young man at a restaurant, and he said, well, if you go about 20 more miles up the road, there's this elder there named David, and maybe he can tell you how to get something to Standing Rock. So I went all the way up this beautiful road, this beautiful drive along the Missouri River, and came to this little town, and I was led to the sister of this man, David, who's this elderly Native woman, and her granddaughter. And she told me, oh, David is an alcoholic, and he's in a wheelchair. He's a war veteran. There's no way that he would even be able to help you. But she said, go back to Chamberlain where you were, and you will find a man named Clark. There's a powwow there today. So go talk to him, and he should be able to help you. So I got in the van and I drove all the way back down to 20 miles. And what I want to say is really interesting here. It started raining a little bit, and look at my windshield. There's actually orbs forming from the raindrops. And again, orbs from the raindrops forming on my windshield. And so I get to the powwow, and this wonderful Indian school, and these were some of the pictures up at where the powwow was going on. And these guys were having kind of this calling contest thing where people were holding a ball between their noses and they had to dance and do different things and maintain the call. And so I asked if this man Clark was here, and someone said, oh, the lady in the green shirt, go talk to her. That's his wife. He's not here today. So I talked to her, and she turned around and pointed to a lady in a white shirt. And she said, that lady lives in Standing Rock. I bet she'll take it for you. And she turned around and looked at her and said, would you take a peace offering to Standing Rock? And the lady said yes. And these beautiful young guys playing the drums for this occasion. And I went and met with this lady, and she was wonderful. She lived in Standing Rock, and I got to visit with her, and I told her there were millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people around the world holding space for them, saying prayers for them, and grateful for the sacrifice that was being made in Standing Rock. And she literally had tears in her eyes, as I did as well. And so I gave her 2 really beautiful bottles of CO2 GANS. I put a couple drops of other kinds of GANS in there as well. And then she also has a disc that was sent to me by Sybil Adora Odema with a Triskelion that's nano-coated inside of it, and one of Whitney's nano-coated infinity loops. I took that off of my neck on a necklace to give it to her, and a bag of actually Heather Bryant's health pads. And she was just really thrilled and really glad to take them. I explained to her how to use the GANS, that she could siphon the water out of that bottle 1,000 times and have people just carry the bottles of the GANS water into Standing Rock and spread it on the land in all the areas, and to do ceremony with it and to call forth the healing of the land and peace in the culture. So that was a really beautiful experience, and I was grateful that I did it, and felt really good delivering that to Standing Rock. So I traveled on from there. I just left because I really didn't have much time left. I barely had time to get to Missoula in time to do the workshop. So I literally ended up driving all night, and I slept for like a half hour and 20 minutes. And then as the next day, as I was driving into Missoula, and I was coming, I don't know, 60 or 100 miles before Missoula, I was out in this really big valley. And one of the things that's gone on in the conversations about the plasma balls is I heard one of the guys saying, yeah, Mr. Keshe saying, we get these flashes of light, and we also get prisms of light when we get the GANSs mixed correctly, and there's a lot of movement of energy going on. Well, in my van, I was building up this really big plasma field with what I was carrying with me, with the intent, with going to Standing Rock. And you can see there's even orbs on this windshield, on my windshield here again. So as I'm driving through this big valley, I end up seeing at least 30 rainbows. And those of us who have lived in the West know you might see 1 rainbow or 2 or 3 rainbows. But here, were at least 30 rainbows. And I thought, I've got to start taking pictures of these things. And I believe this was a product of the plasma field that was being generated by what I was carrying in my vehicle. So I'm just going to zip through these because there's so many of them. But again, orbs there's actually in the middle of that picture, there's another rainbow, a little snow on the mountaintops, a double rainbow, a rainbow. And what these rainbows started doing is they started appearing even in front. Now look at this, the rainbow on the left and that beam on the right. And I'll have a couple more pictures of that, but it's pretty amazing. But these rainbows started appearing in front of the land and actually bending towards my vehicle. This is sort of a prism here with a rainbow out on the right-hand side of it. Again, that same thing. And this was just incredible. I was just and there's interesting hexagonal and different formations to these raindrops on my windshield. My windshield's dirty. My apologies for that. But I just wanted you guys to get the idea of how many zillions of rainbows there were as I drove through this valley. Again, there's that one, you can see the rainbow on the left and whatever this formation of light is on the right, which is really amazing. And again, I attribute this abundance of rainbows to carrying the plasmatic field and being in it and acting in it. So I know this is kind of fast. I don't want to get hung up on rainbows, but I just want you guys to get the idea of how many there were. It was pretty unbelievable. I mean, I just kept, a few of these are a couple of different shots of the same rainbow, but it was just never ending. It was rainbow after rainbow after rainbow after rainbow after rainbow. It's amazing. And you can see on this one how it's kind of moving out from the literal landscape in the background. So anyway, that's about it. Other light formations on my windshield. And I'm driving into Missoula and towards Missoula. And then we get to Whitney. If you want to just go over there, you can probably do it in here. And so basically, I did not show up for the 17th, which was a really wonderful annual peace conference, peace festival that Whitney was talking about. And she and Carolyn ended up doing this peace festival, which was really fun. And I missed it because I got there actually the next day in time for our workshop on Sunday in Coeur d'Alene. But this was at a really, really beautiful Iwam park of 1,000 Buddhas, which is where a man who actually spent, he was a Lama, he spent 8 years in prison in Tibet, but he had a vision as a child to come and build this park honoring the 1,000 Buddhas. And the story is that we heard him tell is there will be 1,000 Buddhas in human history, and they will always bring peace and enlightenment. And so here is this edifice to Tara, who was also on the front porch in Florida when I left. And she is the mother of compassion, the mother of all Buddhas. Whitney, you want to jump in and tell a little bit about this, and then we'll go ahead into your slides on the Peace Festival.
Yeah, this is the most amazing facility that's been created here over years, and it's in a hayfield in Montana. It's just absolutely amazing that he had a vision when he was a kid of these rolling hills, and his whole life worked to create this temple of 1,000 Buddhas, and thousands, or I don't know how many people have actually volunteered to help, but all the gardens were made with volunteer help, and all the Buddhas lining the walls were actually hand-packed by volunteers right on the property. So right here in Montana, we have a very nice energetic marker that's holding the energy for peace here.
So let me go ahead to your, this was so neat what you two did. Just go ahead and talk about it, and I'll.
So we have Kraus Priller's plasmatic first aid poster hanging on the left there, and he's in with the Germany Keshe Foundation team and has done some excellent work on developing technology there. So he put together this plasmatic first aid that's available on the internet in a lot of places. We displayed our GANs, and we had a GANs table. We had particles from food to make plasmatic feeding systems. We had some GANs set up that were making GANs, and everybody was very interested in seeing how the particles were made. And both Carolyn and I spent time just one-on-one with people talking about what this is. This here is a group of family members, and they found that they could feel the energy from these infinity loops, and it would change if one of them would back away. So it was kind of like a family group, and you see that one gal on the top is touching an arm there. So here's
I love those infinity loops. They're amazing. They're awesome.
And most of the people there had some background in energy work, so they could feel the energy from the GANs and the devices. we also had the opportunity in our booth, if you see there's people sitting at the table there, we were showing them hands-on how to make infinity loops, and this gentleman was making something for his grandfather's walking stick. So it was really fun and interactive to have the wires there and have people twisting them and making their own creations of pens.
Oh, it's amazing what they made.
Yeah.
Goodness.
So this is someone who had never made an infinity loop before, and this is their infinity loop here. Many hands for peace right here. Totally unique pen design. There's another infinity loop. And these infinity loops, the 0 point energy is right in the middle. Our friend, right in the middle of where it crosses is where the power builds. And they're just amazing. You can make them with a total wish from your heart for the very best of whoever you want to give it to or the world. They're very, very nice to have. These are some disaster.
Whitney, is there any, as far as the way that you twist it, it looks like on the bottom circle you've gone from left to right. Is that kind of typical?
Yeah, this looks like a magnetical. No, it's a clockwise turn. So
Okay.
the two fingers that are towards the top of it on the left top of the photo there would be holding the open ends while twisting with the right hand on the bottom end. So you can kind of see how that top lays over. You're twisting it clockwise.
So you could be choosing if you're doing magnetic or gravitational, right?
Yes.
Depending on the way you twist.
It acts just like a pain pen. It really is a health pen in the shape of an infinity.
Nice.
Wires that are wrapped around the center core wire are gathering the energy, and they're putting in that center core wire there.
Cool.
These are some disaster relief kits put together by Yasmin of our Goddesses of GANS group. And she sent those so that we could display them and also start giving them away as gifts. They'll come with a pain pen and a patch and a CO2 spray bottle, including with the plasmatic first aid on there.
Nice. There's Carolyn.
Carolyn, she was awesome. We really tag teamed each other really well. I mean, both of us, I was amazed how once we got out in public and started speaking about the technology, all the knowledge that we had learned over the last year of studying this just came out. And we were really able to speak very nicely about all the different aspects of the plasma technology, from agriculture to car units to feeding units. It was
Nice.
really phenomenal.
Nice. Excellent. And those, I think we have another close-up of those, but I love that mat that you made that is like, it shows you the qualities of positive and negative, magnetic and gravitational, and a person can sit and actually work over that and know what they're integrating into what they're making.
There's so many different areas that are gravitational and magnetical, and we're learning this technology together, and it is a really important wave of the future here. So to just even know that like thirst is a gravitational, or sneezing is a magnetical body response. You know, they're alkaline and acidic have a gravitational magnetical qualities. All different aspects of life have a lot of these qualities to them. So this is a way of getting some of these ideas out into the collective consciousness, so more people see them, the better.
Fantastic. It's like we're in the birthing of the understanding of a new science on the planet. And this is going to carry us into the future. It is going to solve, it's going to carry us out of the fossil fuel industry. It's going to carry us into free energy. It is going to carry us into being able to feed everyone and resolve our pollution problems and clean up ecological disasters and provide disaster relief. I mean, there's just so many uses for this across the board. The whole plasma energy field is like the upscaling of what we're doing here in how we create in this world. It's exciting to be out teaching it too. It's really awesome.
And I was going to ask Carolyn also for her comments on how her thoughts from the Peace Festival.
Carolyn, are those your latex gloves you have on? They look so cute with your dress. I love it.
That's why I posed for that glamour shot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
so much fun there. It was great. I mean, Whitney and I, as she said, we bounced off each other, and we kind of learned as we heard someone explain something we weren't as good at, and we picked it up and repeated it. And I run on this inner excitement energy, and it was just so thrilling to sit there and explain to people who were so wanting to hear it. And even though to them some of the stuff we were saying was bizarre, but we gave them enough that they could put their hands on and actually see and feel things, that they were willing to listen to everything we said, and they were very impressed. It was an amazing day.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, go ahead, Whitney, sorry.
We were able to gift a Magrov coil up above Carolyn's head, hanging from the inside of the, you could see a little coil set, and we were able to gift that to the EWAM, to one of the visiting, I'm going to say the terms wrong here, what the visiting dignitaries are called there.
Yes.
He didn't speak English, so he had to have it translated, but we're able to talk about how Mr. Keshe released the technology in trade for world peace, and the benefits and the possibility of the ending world hunger, and causing a lot of our problems that we need to solve here, like cleaning up water and different things. So it was really special in that we got to present that to him. And I don't know if he'll either take it with him or he'll leave it in the EWAM to be displayed.
Nice.
Is now a part of the energetic.
And that was like a llama, right? Yeah. So it's part of the energetic of what their resonance for peace, right? Among the llamas. Beautiful. And you know what I want to say about this as we're out teaching it is, there's so much to the philosophy and the vision and what's possible and where this is going to take us. But where it really begins is what people can feel, touch, and see, and what is solving problems for them or helping resolve issues for them in their everyday lives, which has to do with, you know, how many miles to the gallon they get, and pain pads and health pens and all of these different things that can really change some of the challenging points in people's lives and begin resolving some of those things. And that's what draws them to the greater vision of it. So good to be out just teaching these basics too, because that's really where it starts. That's our beautiful Many Hands for Peace logo. I'll have to put that up, put it up. I'll put it up on this video on the cover. So what do we have here?
We have someone who has created their own health pen, and we've nano-coated it for them.
No, we sprayed it.
We spray
so
nano-coated it.
You know, it takes a day to nano-coat at least.
But it's kind of neat because they get a really instant experience of what nano-coating is like by getting to walk away with a double-bagged pen and some caustic sprayed in there.
They got good instructions. I said it's like battery acid and it's 2-bag, and don't put it on good wood when you're home. Put it like on a plastic container so that room furniture. But they're very excited to take theirs home, and a couple made 2 or 3 things, and everyone was passing it around, feeling the strength, and there was a lot of community talking across the table.
Nice. Beautiful.
I just love this. It's just a baby health pen that someone just created, and they've never seen a health pen in their life. And isn't that gorgeous?
So cool. GANS.
Hands making.
Beautiful.
And I don't know if Whitney told you, those GANs were set up in the morning, and because of the energy there, I think we were already getting CO2 and CH3 GANs. I mean, there was a bunch of CO2 on the bottom, so something special was going on there.
Nice. Infusing it with the beautiful peace energy, so resonant there at the EWAM. Someone just sitting working. Beautiful.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we can. Yeah, the very excitement about everybody making their making their devices was absolutely fantastic. And I think that there'll be some people that we'll be seeing again. They were excited to get more information and meet with us again.
Beautiful. Beautiful job, girls. Awesome. And there's the EWAM, their prayer flags. So then we went from there to Coeur d'Alene. You guys got that done. You did that on Saturday, and then Saturday, when did I even get there? I can't remember. What did I do? I drove in Sunday morning, and then you hopped in the driver's seat, Whitney, and drove us three more hours to Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah, Carrie tried to sleep on the way. She'd been driving all night long. I was absolutely impressed with the quality of our workshop and everything. It was great, and it was a push, but look at all the wonderful people just riveted by the information.
Yeah, it was really great. Awesome. So we do a slideshow at the beginning that shows what it looks like to have the plasma field show up in the ice from the health pens, and all of the different ways that plasma energy can be used. And people really get a lot out of that. It's sort of a great introduction overview. And then we had 2 different GANS setups. I taught the carbon method, and Whitney taught the more basic passive method, and they got to learn each of those. Again, back to the slideshow. I loved it that we went from Let There Be Peace on Earth when I left Florida to here we are in another beautiful little homestead, home, community household where we're doing this workshop, Let There Be Peace on Earth. And let it begin with me. We had great, amazing apple trees with fences to keep the elk or the moose out. We had elk in Colorado, but moose up here. And just lots of questions, people taking notes. And, these were our wonderful hosts. And we'll be back at their house again this coming weekend doing power units. And again, a little Buddha. We just had fractals of repetition of beautiful, positive, aware earth energy. Again, many questions, beautiful fruit trees, and we got to stay in this little cabin. There was like a loft upstairs with a pyramid, great energy. I got to sleep under where I zonked out that night, and Whitney had a nice room on the main floor, and then this guy had beautiful, I think he calls himself Walking Bear, beautiful art with the 4 directions. Whitney, we were talking about this a little bit, the 4 directions in the Native American is very similar to, do you want to go into that a little bit? The 4 directions in the infinity?
It really is it's also an insignia of the power devices with the 4 directions. And it comes up, it's a very universal sign, but that's all I really have to offer right now on that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it really includes the magnetic, gravitational, and the positive and negative charges. I think that was actually incorporated at a subtle level to this Native American symbolism. And again, really beautiful place. Buy fresh, buy local. Do you want to tell your little story of the trucker that you met?
Oh, yes. Yesterday was a day full of synchronicities. It was amazing. And we all got here and started getting work done, and lots of internet work, getting wires, everything kind of placed together. And we're putting together some tubs that we can be taking on the road we won't be duplicating all of our stuff together. And so I was doing that while everyone was at the coffee shop, and a gentleman knocked on the door, and he was very distraught. And he just asked me, I'd seen him around town a couple times and talked to him a couple times. And he said, I got to go help my mom. And he wasn't going to take no for an answer. He needed a ride we're pretty far off the highway here, the main highway. He needed a ride to the highway. And so I ended up asking Carolyn if I could use her vehicle, and took him to the highway, and we just had an amazing conversation the whole way. And I wished him well on his journey and left him at the on-ramp of the of the highway. On the way back, it was a phenomenal time. I had a real experience of how we can heal ourselves, because in the very core essence of it, we are well. So our very core essence, if we're a space of all possibilities, there's one possibility at least in there that we are completely well. And so I had a good experience that way. So on the way back into town, I stopped by the hardware store, and all of this, timing is just amazing by the universe, because if I had showed up a little bit later or a little bit earlier, I wouldn't have run into a friend of mine. I have a friend in town named Charlotte, and she had a friend stop by who is a trucker, and we started talking to him about that these devices are helping us get a better gas mileage. And he was saying that, as a trucker, he spends about $600 on fuel between two of his locations. And he said he's actually just appalled by how much waste there is, that if people would buy local, that there would be a lot less need to have these big trucks putting all these emissions into the atmosphere. And so that was really synchronistic. And also he happened to have with him some a really amazing Himalayan, I don't have the word what it is, but it's you do some of this black goo. It's not the
Shilajit. He's also talking about the Shilajit, which the monks drink, and it's kind of made out of a it looks like mud, but it's a really high mineral complex made out of the earth. And then he also talked about the truckers organization that could maybe
it could get the information to the very local, the owner-operator truckers. Yes,
right.
And so there was such synchronicities in the flow of it. So much information came in just these little stops that were kind of unplanned.
Yeah,
and didn't know that that's what we would be doing that day. So we thought, this is great. Now we have Cary has, what is it, thunder root?
Thunder God vine. Yeah, we'll do some herbal ganses. Thunder God, maybe some cannabis, some shilajit. And so we're going to, this week, put together some nice high potency herbal ganses. Well, let's zip through the rest of these workshop slides. I think there's just a little bit left. I had my GANS collection in the back of the van, and I was rinsing the water off of it and putting fresh water on. Some of it still had salt water on it. And we had really great people. This guy was kind of a contractor, and he was going to bring a bunch of wire. Next weekend, we're going to work on the power units with the same group. And so we're teaching ourselves a lot this week just to be ready to teach.
And this is great because he brought in all the supplies right into the house in the wheelbarrow. That was
he did. And that's the little cabin. What a great place. And what was really interesting, Whitney told me, I fell so sound asleep, I never heard a thing, but a lot of times when we do these kind of workshops, we will have things happen in the atmosphere that are just a reflection also. And Whitney, you said there was a thunderstorm that was just unbelievable overhead, right?
It was raining so hard and thundering so hard. I cannot believe you didn't hear anything. It was amazing.
I was out of body.
It was a torrential downpour.
Yeah, I was OBE. But I think when we start putting out this kind of information, we literally begin moving the molecules in the matrix. And I've had this happen for years when I'm teaching workshops. And I mean, we used to have headstones fall over in cemeteries and trucks go through parking lots, and I mean, just amazing things. So I think when we start really shifting the matrix or the old program, we see a response in it as well. And that's my old friend, Len Romberg. We've been friends since 1980, and his partner, Sarah, and he was the one who heard about this from me and said, oh, I'm going to put together a group so you guys can come and teach. So that was really great. Nice high soul. And again, draining out the salt water out of some of the GANs that I brought. I had made like a 5-gallon bucket of seawater GANs just with caustic, just to have a quick special GANs to bring with me rather than dumping the seawater out. So draining the salt water off of that. And this is our little office, actually, where we are today, the Daily Grind in Philipsburg, Montana.
So actually thankful for the Daily Grind and the Broadway Trading Company. They have allowed us to be in their space and kind of today felt like we have taken over, but this is, look at their beautiful back room here. You can come have coffee, or there's a lot of beautiful gifts up front. It's a really unique town to come and visit. Very, well, the buildings are pretty intact and from earlier times, so it's a historic place, and you can pan for sapphires and things like that. So if you come to Philipsburg, Montana, you definitely have to check out the Broadway Trading Company, and also the Daily Grind for your coffee. And there's Carrie.
Our office away from home. And life is all about how you handle plan B. I mean, I think we're definitely going by the seat of our pants on this tour and allowing the universe to help bring a lot of it forward, rather than just trying to have everything super perfectly pre-planned, because we've learned that we're living in the flow. We're living in the flow of the plasma. We're living in the flow of continual creation. And Whitney and I are both a couple of people who've kind of dropped a lot of the accoutrements of the security, the normal security of civilization. We're glad that some people live in such a way that they hold it all together, but both of us agree that each of our paths is kind of out on the front lines helping this kind of change happen. So we're really happy to have the opportunity to be on the road and get out and visit with people. And we learn as we teach, and we get really good feedback, and both of us see ourselves continuing to do this as much as we can. I'd like to get more training up online, the ABCs of GANS and the ABCs of nano coding and that kind of thing. But, and there's Whitney. She was sitting in front of these flowers today. I said, angels watching over us. I think we have beautiful angelic presence watching over our tour here. So that's the end of the slideshow. I'll stop screen sharing. And here we are. Whitney, you can turn your video back on a minute. There you girls are. Hello. So anything we want to say in closing? I mean, I think we kind of covered it. I wanted to just give people like a eye into the window of what we're doing here and how it's going. And any thoughts?
Oh, I tell you, if you want to meet us in person, then get a hold of us, because it is such a wonderful time to spend some time together, because it's not just during the workshop, but there's time afterwards, or to have some really good conversations about what's going on in the world right now and how we can make a difference and just join our hearts in all of that. So we look forward to meeting everybody and giving them a hug.
And if anyone's near Illinois and they want a workshop, give a yell out.
And you're not in Illinois right now, right? You're on your way to California, Carolyn?
Yeah, via Washington, but then I'll be back in Illinois.
Cool. Awesome.
So Carolyn is kind of, she seems to be doing her own little tour here. She's going to be going over to Washington to Dr. Rodrigo and to see his health setup there, and also meet Heather Bryant, and then go down to visit friends in California. So she's going to be on her own plasma workshop tour doing that.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, Carolyn, it's really been fun to get to hang out with you. It's always fun when we know people like this, and then we get to actually meet in person, all of us meeting in person for the first time, but it feels like we've known each other for a very long time. And so again, at both Many Hands for Peace, with the number 4, manyhandsforpeace.org, which is Whitney's site, and she's developing some really great things there. Her idea was Many Hands for Peace, workshops for peace, but a workshop can also be a group in a community that's continuing to learn how to make plasma items together, and power units and car units and GANs and health pads and health pens and disaster relief, food GANSes. There's so much to learn and so much to do. This is an amazing, exciting, fun science. And as I showed with the rainbows and the orbs, as we begin filling our life, it's like, I don't even want to be in a house that doesn't have a bunch of plasma stuff in it. You know, let's have plasma units, and let's have, you know, GANs and all these things, because they really enhance our life force, our interchange with the source field, with the field of life that's continually flowing. And they're wonderful and fun and entertaining and interesting. And we sit around at night and listen to more, knowledge seekers learning sessions, just because it's so interesting and fun and entertaining and enriching to us. So it may not be for everyone, but for those who it is for, onward and forward, because this is really an exciting time on planet Earth. And then my website, of course, 21stCenturySuperhuman.com. You can always click on tours. You can also click on shows. I think the last 24 hours, one of the links might have been out on my site, but that should be restored relatively quickly. So much love to all. Many blessings. May your life be plasmified. And we will keep you posted as we continue this journey with more videos on what's going on the tour. Girls, any last words of wisdom?
But thank you so much for having us on. It's really fun, as you said, getting to see everyone, and I'll be having fun meeting the new people as I go along. Thank you so much, Cary.
I love everyone, and I hope to meet you in person.
Awesome. Yep. And our calendar is on my website, 21stCenturySuperhuman.com tour. It's a Google calendar. It changes on a regular basis, but if you're anywhere in the Northwest, even we're going from Montana and Idaho to Washington, Yelm, Washington, probably the Seattle, Tacoma area. We have invitations from Vancouver, then down to Eugene, Oregon, then to Grass Valley, California, and then on to Pagosa Springs, Colorado, where I used to live. I've got a lady promoting it there. Possibility of New Mexico, Arizona, but probably then back across the U.S. And so anyway, that whole Northwestern region, if anybody's out there, anybody out there, send them our way. Love to meet you in person, and we love sharing this amazing journey that we're all on. Remember to breathe and smile, and we shall see you soon. Ciao. Adios.